it's heartbreaking.
Shock and sadness outside a Richmond Hill Daycare after a devastating crash.
A toddler killed, several other children injured. Tonight, the charges now laid against the driver. Good evening. There's a growing memorial of flowers and cards outside the First Roots Early Education Academy.
People trying to come to terms with the tragic scene that unfolded there yesterday afternoon. CTV's Janice Golding joins us live from Richmond Hill with the latest. Janice.
Hi, Michelle. Yes, this Richmond Hill community is reeling from this tragedy, person after person dropping by all day long to pay their respects at a growing memorial. Grief-stricken members of the community came bearing flowers.
She goes to the school. Her friends were there. Her friends got injured.
This little girl unscathed, but friends of hers among the injured.
It's horrible. Like, they're little kids, right? I mean, why would someone do that to little kids?
Pain and shock reverberating through this Richmond Hill neighborhood as one by one people came bearing stuffed animals, flowers, and cards with messages like, "Our prayers are with you."
Oh my God, I'm a mother. I couldn't see the video. I didn't want to open it because I feel like I would get too emotional, too sad.
It was around 3 p.m. yesterday when a black SUV plowed through a rear window of the First Roots Early Education Academy in Richmond Hill, crashing clear through from one side of the building to the next, only stopping when the vehicle smashed through the front window and hit a shed still surrounded by shattered glass today.
You know, we saw the sirens going by and all the emergency vehicles, wondering what it could be, but this was the last thing, the most devastating thing it could have possibly been.
The devastation immense. A 1.5-year-old boy would lose his life.
I'm my 11-month-old on the wait list in this daycare.
When you heard that this had happened, what went through your mind?
For the mother of this child. It's just sad.
The daycare had 96 children inside, and 6 more between the ages of 1.5 and 3 years old would be injured, including 2 who remain in critical condition. 3 staff members were also hurt in the incident.
I just can't imagine what these families are going through and the support that they will be needing in order, especially with the little boy who passed away.
While police say they do not believe the accident was intentional, the driver, a man in his 70s, has now been charged with 1 count of dangerous driving causing death and 2 counts of dangerous operation causing bodily harm.
Whatever it is, I cannot characterize it in any other way than being a freak accident. Just kids sitting behind these glass windows, just doing their own thing. The last thing on their mind is a car, an SUV, running them over.
Those who worked with those injured in the crash, meanwhile, posted a message on social media. The daycare describing staff's heartbreak, adding, "Our heartfelt condolences go out to the family during this incredibly difficult time." In a statement late this afternoon, York Region's Chief of Police issued a statement expressing his condolences to the family, as well as expressing his appreciation for both the staff who are here as well as bystanders, including construction workers, for their heroic efforts. The accused, meanwhile, was granted bail in the amount of $25,000 this afternoon, although police say he could face more charges as the investigation continues. Reporting live from Janice Golding, now back to Nathan.
Thank you, Janice. Also tonight, the manhunt for a killer. The FBI releases images of a person of interest in the assassination of Charlie Kirk as a rifle is found and a big reward offered.
Just fresh into the school year, and college students found themselves forced to cross the picket line today.
Close to 10,000 college support staff across the province walked off the job today, going on strike in their quest for better wages, benefits, and job security. CTV's Beth McDonnell joins us live from George Brown College downtown with the details. Beth.
Nathan, the pickets have wrapped for the day, but the union says support workers will be back out here again tomorrow. The union says they've been without a contract since the beginning of the summer. The strike started today. From Centennial to George Brown and across the province, full-time support staff at Ontario's 24 publicly funded colleges are on strike after a midnight deadline didn't secure a deal.
I'm doing strike!
Jung Yi-hung works with students living with disabilities and says she's told to take on extra duties without extra pay.
I would like to see the wages up at least more than 3% or 4%, and also the better benefits.
There are as many as 10,000 Ontario college support workers now in the same boat as Han, taking shifts on picket lines. The positions affected range from the registrar's office to healthcare, maintenance and shipping staff to cafeteria, security and lab technicians. Instructors are not affected and classes are continuing.
Most of the workers who needs to get paid, they've been working hard.
The College Employer Council, the government-mandated bargaining agent, says OPSEU, the union representing workers, is making last-minute demands.
They insist on having no layoffs for at least 3 years, and no reductions, I should say, not just no layoffs, no reductions in their staff, and no campus closures or campus mergers. And these are two items that the colleges can simply never agree to.
The council says it's offered a 2% increase, the same amount academics received in June, along with enhanced benefits and severance if there are layoffs. Over the last 18 months, it says the number of students and revenue has declined by as much as 50%. And as a result, there have been cuts, and there's going to be fewer services available.
Insisting that there could be no further layoffs whatsoever is not something the colleges can guarantee, because we don't know the certainty of what the student population will be in a year from now.
OPSEU says the council is misrepresenting the outlook and shouldn't blame a lack of international students when they say it's public funding that's dropped off.
The domestic enrollments in the college system are way up, and the money that the colleges have in the bank are, more than enough to cover the rainy day that we're in right now. The CEC themselves has told the presidents that they expect a recovery in the revenue stream in the next few years.
The union says workers deserve job security and decent working conditions, along with a properly funded system. The College Employer Council is pushing OPSEU to drop its demands around staff reductions and wants arbitration mediation. OPSEU says it will be back at the table when there is a counter proposal. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Beth. And still ahead, a battle over a basketball net. A garbage truck takes out a beloved neighborhood hoop, but instead of being reimbursed, the family gets a notice of violation.
But first, a look at the forecast. Here's a live shot from our CTV News chopper. Still very comfortable. The mid-summer September run of sun continues. A slight cool down tonight, but this warm weather trend will continue, so enjoy it if you can. Jessica Smith is here with a look at the current conditions. Jess.
It is fantastic. Yes, we are nearing kind of the official start of the fall season, but it is so nice to step into that when you actually have warmth and we're not kicking off the fall with just the absolute worst weather. As we head in towards the weekend, there is a slight chance of rain, but it is brief and it is going to be beautiful up until then. Yesterday, we saw a daytime high of 24.8. Today, the provincial hotspot is Hamilton. Everybody in that mid to upper 20 range. We're still holding on quite comfortably around the Golden Horseshoe, so if you do have evening plans, fantastic, especially if you're playing any sports outside. Now, temperature-wise through the islands and Pearson, 21, 23 apiece tonight, just above seasonal. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast. We'll look ahead to your weekend, but right now, it's back over to Michelle and Nathan.
Thank you, Jess. Investigators in the U.S. are appealing for the public's help as the person who killed conservative commentator Charlie Kirk remains at large.
CTV Washington Bureau Chief Joy Malvin has the latest as the FBI has released a photo of a person of interest.
Oh my God. Go, run.
Charlie Kirk was taking questions on a Utah college campus about mass shootings when police say a single shot was fired. Authorities say the right-wing commentator and fierce ally of Donald Trump was targeted. The powerful leader of a conservative youth movement shot and killed in full view. The FBI releasing this photo, a person of interest, they say, who appears to be of college age and seemed to blend in with the crowd. Police are also confident they have good video footage of the person they believe to be the shooter.
We were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood.
The FBI also found what they believe is the murder weapon, a high-powered bolt-action rifle.
That rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis.
There is heartbreak and fury over escalating political violence in this country. The president lashing out last night.
For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis.
And this morning, marking 24 years after the September 11th terror attacks, the president remembering the young father and husband, awarding Kirk with the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Charlie was a giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people.
The FBI is offering a reward of $100,000 for any information that will lead to the arrest of Charlie Kirk's killer. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington.
There's a Canadian connection to the Charlie Kirk killing. A man who was in Toronto at the time was misidentified as a suspect by a fake social media account. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has the story.
Michael Mallison went from watering his plants to receiving a flood of threatening messages on social media.
Calling me all sorts of names.
And your daughter was receiving messages as well.
Saying if Michael Mallison is your brother or father, then this and this is going to happen.
Following the shocking shooting in Utah, this fake Fox News account on X posted the Charlie Kirk shooter confirmed to be Michael Mallison with a photo of the Torontonian.
Michael, you see your name and your photo linked to an assassination in the United States. Your initial reaction?
Shock and horror. I've heard horrible things about people having their identity stolen.
Quickly, photos of Mallison taken from his social media pages started to circle the internet. Even Grok, the AI chatbot on Elon Musk's X, alleged that Mallison was likely the suspect arrested in the shooting.
Michael, where were you yesterday at about 2:20 Eastern Time?
Actually driving around, we had a busy day. My wife and I went to Yorkdale and then to another store looking for luggage.
Mallison has had legitimate concerns for his safety. The allegations from a fake account, another reminder of a growing lack of verified content on social media sites and the real-life consequences.
They are allowing things to slip through on their platform, and they don't put in enough safeguards to prevent things like this from happening.
I'm just a quiet, normal guy, ordinary guy. I have no need for any publicity, thank you very much.
Mallison has contacted local authorities out of concern, and he's sharing his story in hopes of spreading factual reports that he has no association with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
5 hockey players acquitted of sexual assault charges in London nearly 2 months ago will be allowed to return to the NHL. The league says all of them will be eligible to sign a contract October 15th and play December 1st. They were found not guilty to charges related to an incident when they were members of Canada's 2018 World Junior team. The players met with NHL officials after the verdict and expressed regret and remorse. The Players Association says it is pleased Dylan Dubé, Cal Foote, Alex Fermenton, Carter Hart, and Michael McLeod will get a chance to resume their careers. None have current contracts and all are free agents.
The Toronto Police Service Board has renewed Chief Myron Demkiw's contract for another 4 years.
Chief Demkiw has demonstrated unwavering dedication to the people of Toronto, a steady and thoughtful approach to leadership, and a genuine commitment to building trust with communities and with the members of the service. His approach has been marked by a commitment to accountability, transparency, and modernization.
Board Chair Shelley Carroll said the challenges of policing a city like Toronto are complex. She said the board believes Chief Demkiw is uniquely positioned to lead the service forward and strengthen public safety.
When I became chief in 2022, I stated my priorities clearly: to improve trust in and within the service, to accelerate police reform and professionalization, and to support safer communities. We have made a lot of progress on these priorities already, and our efforts continue. To help guide this work, I presented a renewed policing roadmap to the board earlier today.
The chief says the roadmap will rely on pillars, including strengthening relationships with local communities, standardizing investigations, and making better use of data.
3 women are facing charges after allegedly targeting the elderly and other vulnerable people in a distraction theft scheme. Toronto police say the trio operated as part of a criminal organization and worked together to steal jewelry from victims in a series of incidents between July and as recently as this month. 44-year-old Florentina Alexandru, 27-year-old Marabella Lakatusu, and 37-year-old Florentina Alexandru, all of Toronto, are charged with theft and other offenses. Investigators believe there are more victims, and they're asking anyone with information to contact them or Crime Stoppers.
We turn to the fallout from a CTV News investigation. Crown prosecutors have dropped charges against 2 car salesmen accused of selling stolen cars.
This after W5 showed some of the charges didn't add up. CTV's John Woodward has the details.
Mr. Bachnick, the Crown has no reasonable prospect of conviction.
That message from Crown prosecutors, a relief for Harris Bachnick. He's now won his fight with the criminal justice system.
It was botched from the word go.
Bachnick and fellow car salesman Fatty Zito faced almost 200 charges between them out of Project Warden. Police accused them of selling more than $2 million worth of stolen cars out of this Toronto dealership and covering it up by faking Carfax vehicle history reports.
The dealership's own funds were then used to buy the vehicles, which were fraudulently presented as legitimate.
The charges laid at the peak of a vehicle theft crime wave that prompted many arrests as well as progress in stopping stolen cars at the ports. When W5 did the homework with the dealer's records, we found evidence some cars were stolen, at least 3 buyers who couldn't get insurance, and 12 cars whose vehicle identification numbers were listed as being exported out of Canada before they were sold in Toronto. We also found proof that those Carfax reports could not have been altered. The ones that were provided in the sales actually matched the ones that were issued by Carfax. This former Toronto police detective said those reports could have been a big piece of evidence that linked the salesman to the crime. Without that, the Crown told Bachnick, there was no reasonable chance of conviction in the case.
What seems to be clear in this particular situation is that not all those I's were dotted, not all those T's were crossed.
There were 176 charges withdrawn. There was no evidence of it, and I submit from the first day on, myself, the co-accused, that nobody had any part in this. Everything that we did was above board.
Bachnick says he was duped, just like the people who bought those stolen cars. But he doesn't know by whom. That leaves a big unanswered question. If the salesmen weren't involved, who was? John Woodward, CTV News.
Just 2 days after Barrie's mayor declared a state of emergency to tackle encampments, the city is working to dismantle a downtown site. The teardown began this morning at the encampment on Mulcaster Street. Officials say 44 people were experiencing homelessness there, and 23 have been connected to housing or other accommodations so far. Barrie Mayor Alex Nettles says he'd ordered the state of emergency around encampments on Tuesday to address what he called growing safety concerns, damage to municipal property, and the ongoing toll of the opioid crisis. He indicated more sites are also on the teardown list.
There's lots of space available for those who are needing a bed or needing a room and needing the helps and supports to go forward. So this is, 1 day or 2 days, 3 days in. This is going to take months, as I've said.
There are far too many people without homes, without access to safe, stable housing. What we have to understand is that encampments themselves aren't the issue. They're a symptom of the issue. The issue is a lack of housing, a lack of affordable and deeply affordable housing.
According to Simcoe County data, there are 720 residents experiencing homelessness in Barrie who are outside of the shelter system.
The Darlington nuclear facility in Clarington will be home to the first operational small modular reactor in the G7.
It is one of 5 major projects announced by the federal government today. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
Mark Carney tried to drive home his message.
It's a single point of contact to get nation-building projects built faster.
Announcing the first 5 projects and more in development, led by a former energy executive at the newly opened Major Projects Office.
To get to one project, one review, one decision in a 2-year time frame will set Canada apart globally.
The Prime Minister acknowledged several are already further along, like LNG and Kitimat. He says in all cases, engagement with Indigenous groups is very advanced, and within 5 years.
Yes, some of those projects, shovels will be in the ground.
But the opposition leader points out no shovels yet.
He's not permitted a single major mine, pipeline, nuclear plant, or anything else. What he's done today is announce that he's going to send an email to an office that isn't even fully staffed up yet, which will one day consider possibly approving 5 projects. This is pathetic.
As for money in a new spend less, invest more environment, the Prime Minister says being more efficient doesn't cost much. It's not clear how much Ottawa will spend otherwise.
We expect with the vast majority of these projects that federal dollars will catalyze many multiples of private dollars.
CTV News asked the Prime Minister what success looks like. He said in part it's about changing attitudes so people believe Canada can build big. The next list of projects, he says, will be out by the Grey Cup. That's November. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Edmonton.
Meanwhile, the leader of the federal Conservatives was in Woodbridge for an announcement on public safety. The Tories will introduce a new bill in the House of Commons called the Jail Not Bail Act.
Judges will no longer be required to release the accused at the earliest opportunity under the least onerous conditions. It will introduce a new major offenses category that requires anyone accused of sexual assault, firearms offenses, kidnapping, human trafficking, home invasion, robbery, extortion, arson, and other serious charges. They will then have the onus on them to prove that it is safe to release them on bail. We will strengthen bail laws by mandating judges also consider the accused full criminal history and prevent anyone with prior major convictions from getting bail.
Poilievre wants the Prime Minister to reverse Liberal bail laws he says are unleashing terror in communities. Premiers and police associations have been calling for stricter laws in recent months. The feds say it will introduce its own bail reform bill.
Solemn ceremonies were held in the United States today on the 24th anniversary of the terror attacks on September 11th, 2001.
David Gregory Arce. Michael George Oczynski. Louis Arena.
The names of the nearly 3,000 victims, including 24 Canadians, were read aloud during a memorial service at the World Trade Center site in New York. Many family members joined dignitaries and politicians in paying tribute. There was also a commemoration at the Pentagon, which was also attacked.
On that fateful day, savage monsters attacked the very symbols of our civilization. Yet here in Virginia and in New York, and in the skies over Pennsylvania, Americans did not hesitate. They stood on their feet and they showed the world that we will never yield, we will never bend, we will never give up, and our great American flag will never, ever fail.
184 service members and civilians were killed in the attack on the headquarters of the U.S. military. Commemorations were also held today at the Flight 93 National Memorial in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Family members, local leaders, and visitors gathered to honor the 40 passengers and crew who lost their lives. They took action to disrupt the hijackers' plans to fly the plane into a federal building in Washington. September 11th commemorations and memorials were held right across the U.S. today.
Back here at home, members of a Scarborough family has found themselves in a battle with City Hall over a basketball net.
It was recently destroyed by a garbage truck, but instead of receiving compensation, the homeowners received a violation notice. CTV's John Musselman explains.
Scarborough resident Melissa Riley looks over the spot where the family basketball net once stood. The net is gone now, and how it happened is unusual.
Shocked. I could not believe it that it happened.
Watch this city garbage truck closely. It was on a regular Tuesday morning pickup last month. On the right of your screen, it lifts the blue bin in front of Riley's home and it clips the basketball net. On the way down, it hits the net again, but this time it crashes to the ground, snapping the pole.
Extremely frustrating. We have all the neighborhood kids playing on that basketball net, including my own kids. We have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old, who, 13-year-old especially, is always on that net.
Riley says the driver apologized at the time and even took some pictures. She thought she would be reimbursed by the city. Instead, a few weeks later, she got handed an infraction notice from Transportation Services. It was her fault for putting the net on city property and impeding garbage collection.
We're the ones that maintain it. We've had the net there for that long. Why hasn't anybody told us before that it was a violation until this moment happened?
Riley says she contacted her city councillor and the mayor's office to complain. We reached out to the city for an explanation. In a statement, city officials wrote, quote, "The City of Toronto reminds residents that the boulevard, the space between the sidewalk and the road, is part of the municipal right-of-way and must remain clear to support essential services like waste collection, snow removal, and utility maintenance. Basketball nets are permitted on the curb when in use, but must be removed or set back on private property when not in use." Riley says it seems unfair considering she's out a few $100s to replace the net. She believes the city has given her the runaround on this.
Yeah, we just want to get another basketball net out there for the kids.
For its part, the city says Riley can seek reimbursement. Quote, "Residents who believe city maintenance caused property damage may file a claim through the city's website, Make a Claim Against the City." In the meantime, there will be no basketball outside this home for a while. John Musselman, CTV News.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, tensions between Canada and the U.S. had many Canadians rethinking their travel plans this summer. Now, statistics show many people did stay in Canada to spend their tourism dollars, which has caused a tourism boost. I'll have my reports just ahead.
And we're settling into the weekend with a fantastic forecast. So if you're taking off a little early, maybe heading up to a cottage, we have a beautiful few days ahead. Some showers making their way to the Kawartha Lakes area, but overall, it is going to be picture perfect whether you're staying downtown or you're heading up to the cottage. After the break, we'll have more of your news and weather. Stay tuned.
New data shows trips between Canada and the U.S. were down in August in what Stats Canada noted was the 7th month in a row of declining travel.
Canadians crossing the border showed a steep decline, both by air and car, as more people decided to explore their own country this summer. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Nathan and Michelle. It's being called great news for the Canadian tourism industry. New figures show due to political tension with the U.S., more than a quarter of Canadians changed their travel plans to avoid the States and instead explored provinces here in Canada.
Many Canadians changed their summer vacation plans to avoid crossing the U.S. border and instead opted to spend their tourism dollars in their home country. A Canadian travel survey by Angus Reid, sponsored by Moneris, found 26% of Canadians changed, postponed, or canceled their U.S. travel plans. That was good news for Canadian hotels, restaurants, and other businesses.
Domestic tourism as a spending vehicle to drive the economy is enormous.
The survey found that 30% of Canadians decided to travel to other provinces, while 44% decided to travel within their own province. The shift towards spending tourism dollars domestically helps boost the Canadian economy by millions of dollars a day.
When you think about businesses in Canada and merchants in Canada, tourism is so important to what they do.
Year-over-year interprovincial spending across Canada increased by 5%. The Territories increased 10%, Alberta 9%, and Saskatchewan increased 6%.
This is great news, and we're just very, very thankful to the Canadians who took this step, and they really talked with their actions.
Royal Roads University, a school of tourism and hospitality, says their industry in Canada is thriving with skilled workers needed in many areas. It says the American tourism market has seen a major decline, not just in individual travel, but also for conferences and school trips. Until political tensions with the U.S. eases, it's expected Canadians will continue to explore different regions of the country and spend their money here.
Well done, Canada. Well done for just behaving in a way that just really supports, who we are. We want to really support our local economies, and you saw that this year.
And many people who canceled their trips to the U.S. decided to vacation in Canada, but many others also shifted their plans and booked travel to Mexico, South America, and Europe. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
It is a gorgeous evening in the city, and today some people found themselves saying, ooh, it's hot, which I think is a really nice thing at this stage in September.
Very true, and some people were wearing shorts and T-shirts, myself included.
Listen, I saw people outside tanning earlier today. They were going for swims. I wouldn't say it's warm enough for a swim for me to go to a beach, but you know what? We have this kind of late taste of summer holding on, and as we trickle into the fall and the official start of the fall season in the coming days, you're enjoying it, right? People are still playing basketball outside. They're still playing football and soccer, and you have professional league still playing outside, and you want to enjoy it as well as outdoor concerts. And the good thing is we have this going through almost to the end of the month, so get out and enjoy your fall activities without the fall weather per se. But if you were outside at all earlier today, you saw lots of sunshine. This mural from St. Clair West area, the Hillcrest neighborhood, beautiful. And again, you can be outside and enjoy the view because it's nice out there. We're holding on just above seasonal throughout the rest of our day today and almost into the end of the week as well. So if you wanted to head out and check out the mural, you absolutely can out in the Hillcrest neighborhood. Now, temperature-wise, if you're heading out to a TIFF red carpet, maybe you're going out to play sports this evening, you want to eat outside on a patio, you probably can. We're looking at 23 right now, still just a taste of a humidex. We're at 24 as well through Windsor, 21 in Kingston. Areas to the north, Red Lake, for example, also still in the 20s. Very comfortable as we wrap up our day. Into this evening, holding on just above that seasonal mark, and we stay there right through to the end of the day. Now, a little cooler for our friends out through Orillia, Peterborough, Bancroft to be expected, but overall, really quite a beautiful night. We get into our Friday, whether you're staying in town, you're heading up to a cottage, we're beautiful almost everywhere. We're looking at 23 through Parry Sound into the day tomorrow, 23 here in the city, feeling like 26. We should be around 21 this time of year, so we're still just in that kind of comfortable range. Not much in the way of any active weather, so again, it's a little dry, but you know what? The trade-off is the sunshine. We are watching, though, this cold front making its way through, set to bring some spotty showers early in the day Saturday, but by no means a wash if you have any outdoor activities. Into the rest of the night, though, it is absolutely beautiful. We get into our Friday morning, maybe a little lingering fog that kind of trickles in overnight and carries us into the start of the day, but just a mix of sun and cloud for the rest of your Friday. And again, above seasonal. Fantastic to kind of round out the work and school week. We step into your Saturday morning. If you're an early riser, some showers, heavier for our friends a little bit further north and east of the GTA, but it doesn't last long. And then just some lingering cloud cover and a beautiful afternoon. If you're heading out to the Argos game, for example, a little cloud cover, but you're going to be dry. As we head into your Saturday evening, we're still holding on to all the excitement with TIFF. If you're heading out to any of those events, beautiful temperature-wise. And as we get in towards your Sunday, even warmer still. So we are stepping into what is going to be kind of the final few days of the summer season as we head into the astronomical start of the fall season with a beautiful couple of days, a stretch of sunshine. We're looking at 23 tomorrow, feeling like 26, that chance of rain Saturday, very early on. Some lingering clouds throughout the afternoon, and then chef's kiss, picture perfect as we head in towards the rest of the weekend. Sunny on Sunday, 24 degrees, and as we head in towards next week, it gets warmer and warmer. We're into the mid to upper 20s as we head in towards your Thursday. And that's not even before you factor in the humidex. By Thursday, it could feel close to 30 degrees. So yes, we are stepping into fall, but it definitely still feels like summer. Great for spending some time outside. Hopefully this helps you plan. Michelle, I'll send things back to you.
Thank you, Jess.
Thanks.
Also tonight, a Hollywood heavyweight surprise encounter at TIFF. What had Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson saying, wow, going out of his way to greet some people in the crowd?
We are on the home stretch of TIFF.
But there are still plenty of movies to see and stars to spot. CTV's Andrea Case is on a red carpet tonight at the Princess of Wales Theatre. Andrea.
Michelle, I am just outside the theater. Vince Vaughn just went in. He's in town for a movie called Easy's Waltz. Now, they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but he was talking a little bit about his role. He's a crooner, trying to get his big break, even at his mature age, let's say. So this is a film about that. Shania Twain is in it, Colby Smulders, both Canadian. Vince's wife was here on the red carpet. She's from Calgary, looking fantastic, and she said she went shopping today to buy something Canadian so that she could represent on the carpet. But yes, this is Vince's film. He co-stars with Al Pacino, and he spoke a little bit about singing in the film.
We have Whitney Houston's song and Phil Collins and a lot of songs in the movie, and it's fun to as the performer in the film find your own connection and meaning, and it takes on its own personality, the song, depending on who's interpreting it.
How did you know you could sing?
gosh, you know, I always did a little bit younger, but not as much as I was required for this. But I guess for me, and maybe you can relate to this, I always love the feeling of a song, you know, the way someone connects to it. So it wasn't about what you see so much today, which is always trying to hit the perfect note. It was really giving yourself over to the experience, and that was a lot of fun.
Okay, so you hear the applause. It is not for me. It's for the people who have been lucky enough to get into this film, Easy's Waltz, at the last minute. Okay, so earlier this week, you may remember that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was in town. Well, surprise, surprise, so was one of his relatives, and I met up with him and somebody else who had a surprise for The Rock. When Dwayne Johnson arrived for his TIFF in Conversation event at the Royal Alexandra Theatre this week, he had no idea what was cooking or who was waiting for him on the other side of the barrier.
Andrea, I had a dream, as Martin Luther King would say.
In the crowd, Pamela Houston from the Ontario Black History Society. She was on a mission.
I said to the young people, when Dwayne gets out of the car, call him Dewey, because that's his family name. Nobody knows that. So he stopped and turned around because Dewey. Then they said, "Your dad, your dad." Dwayne looked at the banner and he held his heart. Then he walked through the gates that are blocking people so he can have a better look at his dad.
In 2015, the OBH created a Black Athletes in Sports exhibit, and in their archives, an audio recording of champion wrestler Rocky Johnson.
And I'm very proud that I was the first Black Canadian heavyweight wrestling champion ever was.
Wow.
And I'm very, very proud of that. If I can do it, other people can do it too.
Rocky died in 2020. He was born in Amherst, Nova Scotia, and oh yes, he just happens to be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's dad. Also in the crowd, David Rosen.
And by the way, I'm your cousin David. How you doing? Good to see you.
He got out of the car. I shouted that I was his cousin. Within a couple of minutes, he came over, shook hands. He was very gracious, and I really truly feel we made a connection, and that this is not the last time they were going to see each other.
And then I handed him the DVD and USB with my phone number, I mean the work number, address and everything, and he just went, "Thank you very much."
On a scale of 1 to 10, the chances of him and I seeing each other again is a 10.
I'm still in awe. That's all I can say.
Houston is hoping the next time Johnson makes a trip to Toronto, it'll include a stop at the Ontario Black History Society. I've got to say, Pamela Houston from the Ontario Black History Society is relentless. She asked me to try and get something to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I wasn't able to, but she was. So congratulations. And maybe one day he will come back to town and visit the Ontario Black History Society. Reporting live, I'm Andrea Case from the red carpet. Nathan, I'm going to send it back to you. Or is it Michelle? I'm sending it back to you.
I'll take it. Thank you, Andrea. Love that story. Have a great night. Lady Gaga will be back on stage at Scotiabank Arena tonight. The music superstar is in town with her Mayhem Ball tour, and she already performed her first show last night. After tonight's concert, she'll be doing one more on Saturday. Toronto was Gaga's only Canadian stop on her tour this year, but she's put some Montreal dates on the calendar as the tour extends into 2026.
After the break, the bread Canadians are eligible to get their dough back. How to get a slice of a $500 million bread-fixing class action settlement.
I just can't imagine what these families are going through and the support that they will be needing.
Updating our top stories, there's a growing memorial of flowers and cards outside the First Roots Early Education Academy in Richmond Hill. That's where a toddler was killed when an SUV plowed through the building yesterday. 6 other kids and 3 staff were hurt, and a 70-year-old man faces dangerous driving charges. Education Minister Paul Calandra called the event tragic and proposed limits on the usage of parking spots adjacent to child care facilities.
Our support staff deserve respect, job security, and decent working conditions.
They have several demands that are simply unacceptable and can never be agreed to.
Close to 10,000 college support staff across the province walked off the job today. OPSU says members are pushing for better wages, benefits, and job security. The College Employer Council says the union is asking for guarantees that can't be provided.
Chief Demkew has demonstrated unwavering dedication to the people of Toronto.
And the Toronto Police Service Board has officially renewed its contract with Chief Myron Demkew. He'll remain in the top job for another 4 years. Board Chair Shelley Carroll said the challenges of policing a city like Toronto are complex. She said the board believes Chief Demkew is uniquely positioned to lead the service forward and strengthen public safety. Demkew said serving as chief is the honor of his life as he pledged to roll out a new operational roadmap with a focus on community safety and well-being.
Remember to keep up to date day and night at ctvnewstoronto.ca and by downloading the CTV News app. And if you have a news tip, photos or video of breaking news, let us know.
On the markets, the Canadian dollar is up to 72.23 US. Western Canadian Select Oil is down to 50.80 a barrel. And the TSX is up more than 228 points to close at 29,407.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
Canadian shoppers now have the opportunity to access their share of a $500 million settlement related to industry-wide allegations of price fixing on bread. The settlement involves Loblaw Companies Limited and parent company George Weston Limited. To get compensation, eligible Canadian residents who bought bread between 2001 and 2021 have to submit a claim by December 12th of this year. Customers who didn't receive a $25 gift card related to this case in 2018 could eventually receive up to that amount.
The province is launching its annual series of career fairs to attract more youth and job seekers to skilled trades. The Level Up initiative features multi-day events, open house sessions, and more than 200 exhibits showcasing dozens of career paths in the trades. This year, there'll be 29 job fairs in 12 communities with more than 50,000 people expected to attend. Ontario Labour Minister David Piccini spoke with CP24 about the effort to cultivate interest and involvement in the trades, especially with the rise in youth unemployment.
We, for a long time, have been told that, there's only one path, and that's through either university, college, etc. And we as a government have tackled that stigma and have said you can go to a community college and get a rewarding career in the trades. You can join a union training hall, get a rewarding career in the trades. And we need these skill sets. AI is not going to affect your plumber, your pipe fitter, your steam fitter. We need these people. We have a new nuclear commitment. We're one of the few countries on planet Earth that are thinking ambitiously to build new nuclear. Well, it's going to take a lot of carpenters. It's going to take a lot of steam fitters, pipe fitters, a tremendous amount of laborers to get that done.
Grade 7 to 12 students interested in attending the career fairs are encouraged to contact their school board's Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program recruiter, a teacher or school guidance counselor to register. You can visit levelupontario.ca for a list of locations.
To sports, the Toronto Blue Jays were looking for a series win this afternoon in the finale of their 3-game set against the Astros.
Into left field, a base hit. Lucas around third on his way to the plate. It is 6-0.
Toronto's offense was in fine form today, scoring 6 runs en route to a win. But the big story was Kevin Gausman, the Jays pitcher, threw a 2-hit shutout in the 4th complete game of his career. Toronto begins a weekend series at home against the Orioles Friday.
Meanwhile, all eyes were on Easton Cowan as the Toronto Maple Leafs rookie camp began today. The team's top prospect helped the London Knights win the Memorial Cup last season. He also picked up OHL and Memorial Cup MVP honors. Cowan will be looking to make a good impression with the Leaf regulars when they gather for training camp later this month. The rookies will play games against their counterparts on Montreal and Ottawa this weekend.
Just ahead, driving change in Toronto. The city and TTC put a big goal in motion. The City of Toronto and TTC employees have set a more than $2 million goal for their cornerstone annual fundraising campaign.
The effort sees public employees work together to offer support to United Way Greater Toronto. The announcement was made today at the TTC's Hillcrest complex on Bathurst. The slogan for the fundraising effort is One City, One Team, One Campaign. Mayor Olivia Chow and TTC CEO Mandeep Lally were among the officials at the campaign launch, where staff set a goal of raising $2.3 million in this year's effort, and that's up from $1.7 million they brought in last year. The funds go towards causes related to housing, food security, crisis and mental health supports right across the city.
These programs are for you, your neighbors, your family, and your friends in our city. So as we kick off this year's campaign, I start with a thank you for role modeling for the city, how to show up in such a bold way to galvanize and bring support to the most vulnerable.
Over the past 20 years, city employees have raised more than $23 million for the United Way Greater Toronto. Just fantastic work.
Oh, that money going to do a lot of good. Weather-wise, we have just had many, many beautiful days this week. Today was another one, and there's another one coming.
And another one after that, and another one after that. It really is such a nice stretch through almost the entire month of September. So if you have outdoor plans or you want to do those kind of final barbecues of the season, you can absolutely do them outside because it's so nice. We're just above seasonal as we head in towards the end of our day today, and this trend really continues over the next few days. The only exception really being Saturday, but that's just back to where we should be for this time of year. Not much going on in the way of any active weather. Maybe a little fog overnight into start to the day tomorrow, but we're really not holding on to much in the way of any active weather. We're looking at 23 right now here in the city, and as we step into your Friday, we're up to 23 again, feeling like 26, and that weekend looking 10 out of 10. Fantastic. I'll take it.
We love it. Thank you, Jess. That's it for us, but be sure to join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zarada Alman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jessica Smith and all of us here at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a wonderful night.
I'm seeing 27.
Yeah.